Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel Rapid Data IT Solutions, and we talk about various aspects of the SAP systems, which include S/4HANA as well as ECC, and sometimes the cloud solutions and the BTP applications as well. Today's topic that we are going to focus on is LSMW, even though it is old school and mostly used within the ECC, but even in S4 system it is still available, even though SAP doesn't recommend it to be used. But it is very useful, and for any consultant to know LSMW would be very helpful. And I don't believe that SAP will get away with this particular process completely, because of the simplicity of using this tool for uploading data components inside the SAP system, be it S4 or the um, or the ECC. Let's get started. So now we'll talk about different ways to use LSMW, and it will be end-to-end detailed processes within LSMW. We'll talk about um, things like recording. We will talk about things like batch input, direct input, uh, using the IDOC mechanism to upload data using LSMW as well. So let's get started. So that's the T code LSMW, as you all know. And I got some sample LSMWs prepared, and probably I'll take them through as well. But we create one LSMW, um, starting from the project to the object, and we in the first one we would use recording of transaction code in SAP to use within LSMW for uploading data. So let's do that. So let's call it Rapid Data as the project name. It's underscore data. So the sub project is also Rapid Data. Let's call it sub project, and let's upload bank master using recording of the relevant transaction code in SAP. So it doesn't exist, so we have to create. So a Rapid Data project was created beforehand. So sub project Rapid Data, and naming of the projects and sub projects could be controlled within the project, the comment of the projects. And let's call it bank master upload using recording. Now let's go inside the LSMW. And what is the T code? I think the T code for the bank master is F502. Yes, that's the right one. So we would, I think it's F501 plus an F501 is the create bank data. So let's go to change mode here, and then we would be using this option batch input recording. You got the other options which we will talk about bit later, but firstly we would attempt to use the recording option. So first go inside, say like clicked on this button, you go to the overview of the recordings, click on that and click on create to create a new recording, and let's call it FI_01 FI01 recording. It's not acceptable, so let's put it this way, and FI01, and let's call it AU, and bank key could be 1 2 3 4 5 6. Maybe 456 is already created, so let's call it 459. And this is the standard format which is used in Australia, and this is how it is configured as well. 6 characters denoting the BSB code in the Australian banking industry. So let's call it test bank, and yeah, so we may not record these fields and I'm going to show you how we can manipulate the screen fields in the LSMW recording as well. So let's save it, and we know we can see only 3 fields have come through. Now assume that you need to add one more field. What you can do, you can go to something called extended DynPro field, and you can add a field which is required to be added. So you can go inside the so let's go to the display mode F03, and let's open this up, and you can see the field name. So for example, we have to add the region code and press F1 to find out the field name. So we know that's the field name, and as you can see here, banka BNK, BANK is the test bank description. So similar way we can add this field as this screen field, and you can have it here as well. So, and you can make these fields, so you click on default, and they will become the input fields to be uploaded from a file that you prepare into the LSMW later. So now we got the field names. We want to keep the same field names in our files. So let's call it this way. Now the recording is done. We can come back here. You can use the recording, or you can choose the record. If you got multiple recordings, you can click on this recordings button, and you get to see all the recordings which are available, and then you can include the one which is to be used for this case. So click on that, save, and go back, and in the source structure you have to add the structure. Let's call it header struct. You can give any name that you like to give. Sometimes there are some restrictions, and it will tell you what that is on when you try to put that structure name, and you have to change it. So header structure struct, save it, come back, and once you are back here, you can go to change mode, and then you click on this table maintenance option. There are 2 options you can use. You can create each field at once, but at one time, or you can include all the fields which are part of the input structure at once, like this, by clicking on that maintenance button. So you can add the field names. Let me add the field names. And then we are going to use C, and in LSMW input structure you always use C as the default type of the field, and that works all right for every kind of data objects. And by default the names or the descriptions would come automatically with the help of the data elements, because these are data elements within SAP, and it has got they have got the descriptions. Now save it, it's there. So you have to apply the structure relation, because it is only one structure, because it's a recording, it's just one structure, therefore the default mapping is already done by SAP, but you have to still open it one time. So go to change mode. With the change mode option here, you can do autofill mapping. You can see the option there, autofill mapping. There are 2 options you have. You can include each mapping. So these are like the input fields for the recording screens, and then you have to map the 5 field names that you have added in the previous step into the structure, input structure, into here for these different fields. And there are 2 options you have. You can do them one by one, or you can by clicking on this one, or let's do one at least. Let's do it like this. So we have done one. Doesn't matter. That message is just a length issue because we have given extra length. So that's okay. And we can now go to the extras and find out the autofill mapping. And in the autofill mapping, we can you can give the probability of the field mapping this is a fuzzy matching. You can give it 80%, and then it will find whenever the field names match to the 80% level, it will map that field accordingly. And you can accept the proposal. In the previous step, there is an option whether you want to accept every time the mapping is found out, or you want the system to complete the mapping automatically without providing your acceptance. So when you got too many fields, you choose the second option without the acceptance. You will see that there. Save it, go back, and you can put the field name here. And so how many field names we got? We got 4 field names. Let's prepare the file, a very small file with only those fields which are required. And then you got the region which we added additionally with the extended option inside the recording. So let's call it AU again, and sorry, AU, let's call it 1 2 3 6 7 9 6 7 8 or whatever. These are not real ones, that's okay. And this is the name of the bank, test 2 2 3 4 example. And this region is a standard SAP field, so it has to be and it is a configured one, therefore it has to have the correct value, so that's okay. So let's save this one into a text file, and once you save this as a text file, desktop, you can do it at the desktop level as well. A bank data, doesn't matter, I give it a funny name. But you need to add the field name as the input, file name as the input file to be used for the LSMW. This PC, I think this PC, is it not here? Where did I set the file? I can't find that. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's check the file, desktop. Can't find the file. Okay, did I save it properly? Okay, let's save it here. Desktop. Yeah, you got that here. Say okay, tab, field name at the, because you got the field names at the first line, so it will be excluded when the records are read, assuming the first line is not actual data. And this one you choose when you got the fields in the right sequence. Now you can't, you have to choose either of them or two of them, both of them, because without the field names at the top, it's not able to read the right fields for the right values. And if the second one is there, then the first one is not necessary, and if you don't, and in that case you don't keep the field names at the top line, because the field names field order matches the source structure definition. It's going to read the right values for the right fields automatically based on the concept. Anyways, so let's call it test, and let's save it. Yeah, let's save it. The length was an issue. That's why I have reduced the names, because these are like intermediate files. They're stored in the AL11 file directory within SAP. This is the T code AL11, where the files are uploaded um, in two levels. Once it is read, and then once it is converted to the target format, which is the format of the input structure for of the recording. Okay, so you have to assign it one time, even though it will be automatically done because it's just one structure again. And read data. So read the data from the file. It's read. We had one record, it's read. Let's convert it. It's converted as well. You could have read the data here if it is read properly from the file into the read data set. It is, as you can see it here. And now in the next step, after the conversion is done, you can display the converted data to confirm the correctness of the data. It's done again. Now you can create the batch input session, which will be created based on the recording which was done, or the recording which is used as part of this LSMW. Now the recording is the batch input session is created. You can now process it. You can do in the foreground like this, and let me not save it. I'll go back and I'll show you how to run in the background as well. So this is the T code. So /n is to skip to the next transaction in case you got many transactions. /bend is the code, OK code, if you want to cancel this batch input session, which is like more like batch end. So B end is batch end. /n end is to end this particular transaction and go to the next transaction. That's how these OK codes work, and you can find all the other OK codes when you process the batch input. One more, I can show you a couple of more. /bde. If you run the batch input and in the foreground, now you have to change it back to the error mode. That means only when an error comes, it becomes a foreground processing for your input. Then you can do it /bde, and from there again, if you have to change it back to the all screen showing when you're processing the session, you can do it BDA, batch data all. The previous one was batch data error E. So, and I'm going to bend it because I want to show you how to run in the background as well. So if you click on this, select and then process, and then you go to background, you can run in the background mode. The second one is at the very beginning, you decide to use BDE /BDE. But like I said, once you go into the error, you can change it to the BDA to BDE to show all or error only screens. And that's how it works. And let's run in the background and see what happens if it processes or not. It processed. So the bank master is created. So we can look at if it is created or not. /fi03, and let's look at this is the one that you try to create, and you can see all the fields which we sent across have been populated automatically from the data set that we provided. And that's it for this session. In the next one, we will talk about the other options, the batch input option in the LSMW. Let me just quickly show you what I mean by that before we close the session today. Inside this, you got these options as well. So the batch input batch input process, or the direct input, we will use for two different purposes. One is so the batch input we would be using for some data loading, and the direct input for the text upload, which is faster in the direct input mode. And then we will show you how to use BAPI and the IDOC. They are used in a similar way, but I'm going to show you how to use them as well in terms of uploading data. Yeah, that's going to be next session. So I think we can close today's one, and we'll see you in the in the next